Big Mac versus the Whopper, Mercedes versus BMW, and finally in our watch collecting world, Omega versus Rolex. As far as I can remember, I've always heard stories about these two titans of the watch world. The Seamaster versus the Submariner, the Speedmaster versus the Daytona, and the list goes on. I'm guilty of constantly comparing both, but here's a controversial thought. Rolex and Omega couldn't be more different. It's a watch like this Omega Speedmaster Moonphase Aventurine that reminds me of that fact. The piece we have in front of us is a very special Speedmaster. In fact, in terms of aesthetics, it is on my top 3 Speedmasters alongside the Albino Snoopy and the 321. At a first glance, you may think it is a perpetual calendar purely based on the subdial positions. You will notice, however, this in fact is an Omega Speedmaster Moonwatch. Yes, it is a Moonwatch, but in this case there is an added complication, the Moonphase, which arguably makes this even more appealing. You will notice the dial embodies the night sky with stars that glisten in the light. The dial is truly remarkable. To achieve this, Omega used Aventurine, aka glass mixed with copper elements, to create the look of an unpolluted night sky with stars fully visible. Another detail that may escape many is the fact that Omega uses white gold for the indices and hands. Now, before moving forward with this review, I do have to mention this video is sponsored by our in-house store Ticking Way. This watch is available for purchase, and I specifically chose this piece to showcase for the very reason you might already see without me saying it. As with all of our reviews, I'll be giving my positives, negatives, and my personal honest opinions. On the wrist, this piece is a big one. As mentioned with my Speedmaster Moonphase review of 2018, Omega managed to make the big watches still fit most wrists with, let's say, witchcraft. I don't know how they do it, but for some reason, some pieces that are 44, I could never wear it, but this one, it fit my wrist. For your reference, my wrist is 6.5 inches, and this timepiece comes with a 44.25mm case by 14.5mm thick. The lug-to-lug distance is 50mm, which usually overhangs my wrist to the point of it being uncomfortable. In this case, Omega used lightly curved lugs that hug the wrist. Now, for me personally, I would prefer something a little bit smaller, but two problems come to mind with this specific piece. Putting this already complicated dial on a smaller case would make it look too cluttered. The second thing would be the indices would be too close to the subdials that would make it hard to read. For daily use, you do get a sapphire crystal, a stainless steel case mixed with brushed and polished surfaces, and 100 meters of water resistance, which is more than enough for a chronograph. In fact, when it comes to Omega, it is actually very rare for you to find a Speedmaster with 100 meters of water resistance. This piece is powered by the previous generation 1866. The 1866 has a similar architecture to the 1863, but with the additional Moonphase and date complication. Tim Mosso had mentioned he believes there's some degree of hand finishing to this caliber, and I have to agree. Under macro, you can see some fine mirror and black polishing that is clearly done by hand. Omega doesn't state this, so take our opinions with a grain of salt. This Speedmaster is a very rare and beautiful release from Omega, what I consider to be an absolute sleeper. Quite frankly, I'm surprised by how little attention this one received. While it doesn't have the 321 we all love, this embodies the perfect example of what Omega is capable of producing for enthusiasts. Thank you for watching, and guys, thank you for 30,000 followers. I'm honored, so make sure you subscribe. I'll be gifting you guys something very special very soon. And thank you again for watching. Add in the comment section below what you think about this Speedmaster, and I will see you in the next one.